Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Naveena, hailing from Tamil Nadu. I'd like to thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity to talk on exploring India's maritime history through literature. I would like to drag your attention towards two of the important terms in this title. One is history and the other is literature. Why can't we trace or explore history through history? Why do we need literature? That is the core essence of this talk today I am going to deliver. According to New Historicism, Stephen Greenblatt advocates history can be considered as a text and a literary text can be considered as history. This is because, he says, history is also a one-man individual perception and literature is the same. But it is a fusion of fiction and non-fiction. Only thing the reader must concentrate on is he has to divide, he has to extract the fiction from the non-fiction and identify the facts which are present in literature. So hence, literature can also be considered as a text of history, and through literature we can trace and explore India's maritime culture and history. I would like to quote upon the nautical literature. I'm going to divide this talk into two. The first part of the talk will deal with the Indian writing in English, particularly with special reference to this nautical literature. And the second part of my talk is going to be on Tamil, exclusively on Tamil literature. So the first part, I would like to quote a few authors from India, also from abroad. It is because we could take the glimpses on India from which came from abroad also, I think. So first one I would like to mention here is Amitav Ghosh. Amitav Ghosh is a very prominent writer from Bengal, and Bengal is a place which is enveloped with the water of the ocean. So Amitav Ghosh, in his Hungry Tides, he talks about the entire ocean is simply what we see and what we could not see. So he calls it as a mysterious mother of everything. And in one of his other non-fiction works called In an Antique Land, to compose and complete this particular piece of work, Amitav Ghosh took much efforts to stay in Egypt and trace the trade seafair history between India and Egypt. He stayed there in Egypt and studied over the entire process that happened between India and Egypt through sea waterways. The point is, it is not like the entire work we call it as non-fiction. It contains only the factual elements in the text, but there are fictional elements are also present in the text. Still, it can be considered as one of very best documented evidence which states the connection between ancient India and ancient Egypt through waterways. In that particular text, Amitav Ghosh creates a character called Boma. There is an Egyptian Jewish merchant in the story. He has a slave who is Boma. Then this Boma is an Indian. Through Boma, he explores the idea which was used as a waterway between Egypt and India. And also, the other piece of literature I would mention here is Life of Pi by Jan Martel. Jan Martel is a Canadian author, still I would like to quote a Life of Pi here because it deals with a boy from Pondicherry. Pondicherry is an union territory which is close to Tamil Nadu, and the main character of the novel is a boy from Pondicherry. Actually, Jan Martel transposes the idea of sea, the idea of using the waterways and using the sea as a seascape for writing a novel into something more spiritual. Like as we have in Tagore we read the poems like the waves of the sea. He calls like the tide can be the birth and the death, a symbol of birth and the death. And likewise, Jan Martel transposes the entire novel Life of Pi into something more spiritual. Like the main character of the novel is a boy whose father is a zookeeper. He learned many techniques from his father, and there was a wreck of a ship which was carrying all the animals from the zoo, and he happened to stuck with a tiger called Richard Parker amidst the Indian Ocean, and he had to spend around more than 200 days with the tiger in the Indian Ocean alone. So this entire novel talks about how the very texture of our coastal region, very texture of our oceans and our seas are going to affect the life of the human beings. So from this novel, it is not simply going to be the sea. It is an element, a separate element, and human beings be other separate element. And we are not just connected with this wayfaring and fishing alone. Actually, Jan Martel wanted to give an idea, project an idea that this is going to be more than what we do with fishing, what we do with sailing. It is going to be a spiritual connection. Like he dragged the idea from Darwin. Darwin says flora and fauna and everything happened to be created from the very soil of sea. Sea is the point of every organism's birthplace. So, likewise, Jan Martel here wanted to give the idea that it's not going to be just an element of nature. Sea is not going to be an element of nature. It is more than that. It can be a part of your life. That's what the idea he wants to express from this novel. And there is another one takeaway from literature and nautical literature we could understand. Like in Hungry Tides, even Amitav Ghosh talks on it. Like hungry, the word hungry immediately gives two different meanings in the novel. One is the hunger of the human beings to possess the sea. And the second one is the hunger of the sea to control the possessiveness of human beings towards the sea. So this is continuously a war-like thing which is going between human beings and the nature. And all nautical literature, all literature which deals with the environment ends with an idea called if you're going to destroy nature, and nature will eventually destroy you. So this is the very basic texture and idea of every nautical and or even environmental literature we have, which talks exclusively about how we are at a point to preserve the nature and the very extravagant luxury we are blessed with by the nature. And the second part of my talk, due to time constraint, I'm moving to the second part. In the second part, I would like to talk exclusively about Tamil literature. Since morning, you happen to listen to many words like Chola, Chera, Pandya, and Katamaran, many words from Tamil, many interferences from Tamil literature, Sangam literature, and land of Tamil. It is all because I'd like to introduce it in a proper way to you, why everyone happened to talk about this Tamil culture when it comes to this nautical writing or maritime culture or history. It is because in India, Tamil Nadu is the only state which has the three coastal lines, three seas and ocean of India. The coastal line which spreads over is the only state is Tamil Nadu. Like we have this Arabian Sea coastal line and the Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal. And this word which was mentioned in the morning, one of the speakers mentioned in the morning, Kattamaran is a Tamil word, Kattumaram, which happened to get into the Oxford English Dictionary, and which is the dictionary compiled by our colonizers. From this shows that from early times, this Tamil people happened to be the one of the earliest wayfarers. So they happen to be one of the earliest wayfarers. They used the term, they constructed Katamaran, and that word got entered into this Oxford English Dictionary. So these things happen to be, and also that another one important thing I want to mention here is in Tamil they have Tolkappiyam, which is one of the earliest foundational work which speaks extensively about, it's not an epic, which speaks about grammar and literature of Tamil, the linguistic aspects of Tamil. The point here is not only in Tamil but also from every regional languages of India, literature happened to be the earlier element which originated even before the colonizers drafted the history of India. So here what I want to mention is, more than history, if at all we want to rely upon something which is going to be very prominent and providential, it could be more literature than this history which was drafted by a colonizer. So someone who is going to be, someone is an alien who is going to be, who wrote the history of India, and some insider who wrote the history of India through literature, I think it is far better to refer to the aboriginal ideas. So in Tamil, I have a few references to mention. Can I take 5 more minutes? Just 5 more minutes. So, okay, in Tamil we have Kadalpurathil. There is a writer called Vannan11, Kadalpurathil, which means in the coastal region. And another one important work called Ali Sool Ulagu by Jody Cruz, which means the world which is surrounded by water. This particular work is exactly a replication of Moby Dick, but more than a Moby Dick, it talks more about the real adventures that happen in the sea and the wayfaring. And also dated back in 1935, Pudumai Pittan, a writer from Tamil, has written a short story called Tumbakeni. This Tumbakeni means water well of suffering. Actually, this particular short story talks about the subsequent slave trading between Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu, and how the waterways are used to trade slaves, and how they were used and suffered in the tea cultivation plantation area in Sri Lanka. So how Tamil people suffered there. And our very prominent poet Bharatiyar has also written something related to this nautical literary ideas in his poem. That one is, he talks about the Indo-Fiji women who suffers as a slave there in Fiji Island. He pens a poem, a very long poem, starts like Karumbu Thotathil. So it talks about the sufferings of Indian women in Fiji Islands who happen to work in the sugarcane plantation. So these things gives the very idea of how Tamil people were very much involved in the coastal living and the wayfaring, and also how they people adopted adopted ocean as their own, and how they happen to make it as a part of their life. And also there are very extravagant references in Sangam literature which deals with this pearl diving in Tuticorin. Currently it's called Tuticorin, and earlier it was Korkai and many other port cities constructed into one. The very idea is, according to me, it is more possible, it is very much easily possible for everyone to explore the Indian maritime history through literature than through the books of historical text. Thank you.